This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2020 Coachmen Catalina Legacy Edition 303 RKP. Okay. Of course, this is the one with the side patio. So let me move to the rear of the trailer. So you've got crank down stabilizer jacks. They take a crank, obviously, or a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. So most people are using a drill these days, seems like. You got a power awning. Of course, your patio folds down just like any rear door on a toy hauler or on a tractor trailer or anything like that. You just undo this latch, swing them around, swing the other side around and let it drop. Self-evident. Now, the stairs fold into the trailer, so keep in mind you can adjust the length of the legs for the terrain you're on just by pulling this pin here. There's one on each side, and then slide them up and down to the length you want. Alrighty, you got awning lights, obviously. Pass-through storage. You have two cranks here. That's your stabilizer crank there, and then of course the small one, the small silver one, is for the power tongue jack. In case it fails, you can remove this cap here, stick that crank on there and crank it manually to get yourself out of trouble. Okay, alrighty, so you have the power tongue jack with a hitch light. You got two LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator, deep cycle marine battery. Alright, your fresh water drain for your fresh water tank is under there. You can see the cap right there on the end of the line. To fill your fresh water tank, let's say you're camping at a campground that does not have plumbing on the campsite, but if so, you can pre-fill it at either the fill station at the campground, or if they don't have one, you'd have to find another means. But you pre-fill your fresh water tank, and then you can use the onboard pump to pump the water. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to use the city water hookup here. Okay, so the city water, you're just going to screw the hose on there, turn it on, and your trailer's pressurized, ready to go. This is just a outside shower. That is obviously the vent for your furnace. So when this right here is your black tank flush. I'll tell you about that. These are your dump valves, right? The black one is toilet water and waste. The gray one is sink and shower water. So you're going to put your hose on there. You're going to put it in the dump station. Then you're going to pull the black one first. The black is the dirtiest water, toilet water and waste. And then you'll pull the gray second, because the water is dirty, but it's cleaner than the black water. So you wrench your hose out a bit that way. Then, leaving your black tank valve open, you can hook the hose at the dump station onto this hook up here, turn it on, and it's got like a sprayer inside. It'll spray out the inside of your black tank and clean it out really well. And one of the main reasons you want to do that, besides obviously just to keep it clean, you can clean off the sensors really well. So black tanks, after a while, if you don't clean them really well, you tend to start getting bad readings off on the monitor panel about how full it is. But if you flush it, that cleans off the sensors really well. So, okay. This is just cable and satellite through, the coax through to the entertainment area. Alrighty, you got one slide out. It's like just a standard Lippert slide out. Okay. You have a second gray tank on this one, which is a galley tank, I suppose, for the kitchen sink, and that's where you dump it right there. You can see there's the gate valve and your hookup for your hose. Okay. This is the exterior of your water heater. Right now the water heater is empty because you're in winterized mode. So there's bypass valves on the back of the water heater. They are right now in bypass mode. All right. This is your drain plug. Let me see if I'm getting it on the camera here. Your drain plug with an anode rod, a sacrificial rod. It screws in right here, right? So keep in mind you always have to have water in your water tank before you turn it on, especially the electric heating element, because it'll burn out in just a minute or so if there's no water in it. So the way you would, once you put the plug in here, basically you can hook up your city water, go inside or go to any place that's got a hot water faucet, turn on the hot water. Because the tank's empty, you're going to get air coming out of the faucet. Then it'll be a mixture of air and water, spitting out water, right? Then eventually it'll become a solid stream of water. That's how you know the tank's filled. You always make sure it's full before you turn it on with either gas or electric. All right. One thing you should know: there's a switch right here. Let me get the cover right here. This switch, on and off rocker switch, lower left-hand corner. It controls the heating element that's behind this cover here. So that switch has to be on in order for your electric to work. Okay. The other switches are inside. I'll show you that when we get in there. Excuse me. You have what looks to be you have a 50 amp cord, 30 feet long, and you get the reducers for it, so you can reduce it down. So this trailer is wired for 50 amp, which is the way everything's going these days. All right. So this housing up here is telling us that this is pre-wired for a backup camera. So if you want to get one, you would get the Furion camera that fits right in that housing. We sell them here, or you can get them elsewhere. Just make sure you get the right one, and all you have to do is plug it in, and off you go. Put 4 screws in. Okay. This is the vent for your range hood. So if you're going to use the fan in your range hood, then you want to, it'll vent out here. You want to reach up. There's a tab there and a tab there. You flip them up so the baffle inside flaps freely. Whenever you're venting, you want that to flap freely. All other times, storage, when you're in transit, that sort of thing, you want it snapped shut so it doesn't get damaged. Okay. While we're looking up, all trailers have to be inspected. Manufacturers talk about roof inspection every 90 days or so. So you figure in the spring, the middle of the summer, and in the fall, you can go up there, have somebody go up there, check all the sealant on the roof, make sure there's no cracking or separation. Make sure there's no damage to the roofing material from road debris or low branches, that sort of thing. Just look it over. If there's an issue, get it taken care of immediately. That's why you're inspecting it, because odds are you go up there 100 times and you won't have to do anything, or not 100, but you know what I'm saying, many, many times. But you just want to make sure. Okay, so let's go inside here. Okay, so this is your control panel here. Okay, so the lights I have on here, I told you that it has an onboard water pump. That's right here. You use the water pump if you have water in your fresh water tank because you're camping somewhere without city water. You can pump the water with that. It's also used during winterization of the trailer. And I showed you how to light or start your water heater on the electric, the switch in the lower left-hand corner. Well, this will light it on gas right here. Okay, so that's the gas switch. Your awning, you extend or retract. Never leave the awning out unattended. So if you're leaving the campsite, roll the awning in, because the wind can come up quickly and damage it. A lot of pressure builds up underneath it, and so you want to roll it in when you're not there. The slide out is right here. It's when you go out with it, you'll hear it ratcheting when it's all the way out. That's what it's supposed to do. It just keeps it from overextending. When you're coming in, it'll ratchet when it's all the way in to keep it from over-retracting. So as soon as you hear that noise, you take your finger off the button here. I'll show you. You hear this button noise right here? That means it's all the way out or all the way in. In this case, it's all the way out. Take your finger off the button. Okay? These are how you check your levels here. Your battery is charged. Always check it when you're not plugged in, though, because if you're plugged in, it'll read as charged. Fresh water is empty. As it fills up, it'll go up in 1/3 increments. The LEDs will light up. Black is empty. Gray 1 is empty, which is gray 1 is the bathroom vanity and the shower, and then gray 2 is the kitchen sink up at the front. Okay, so the second gray tank sometimes is called a galley tank, but it's gray tank number 2. All right. Okay. So as we're going by here, this is your thermostat. It's an analog thermostat, so it's very simple. Turn it click it to the right for heat. Once over to the left for off. The next one over is fan. Fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. It just circulates air. And then cool, obviously, is the air conditioning running with the compressor. All right. So try to keep the fan on auto. That's the best way to run it. And remember, if it's not turning on, don't forget to shift your. If you want to cool or heat in this case, you got to slide your thermostat over to get it to turn on. Also, this, you can barely see it there, but this device down here is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is with the green LED. If it goes off, there is a self-test button you can push on there to test it. It'll go through 2 self-tests. But if it goes off, you obviously open the door, take everybody outside, shut the gas off at the front, and then figure out what's going on, okay? There's also a smoke detector, which is up here, separate. Just it's the same as a household smoke detector. Okay, all right. So, moving on, you got two seats, theater type seats, I guess. And then, of course, you have your couch that turns into a bed. So you would pull these cushions loose and set them over here. Then you're going to grab it right here and you're going to fold it out, put the legs down, then flip the back down, and you've got a 3-panel hide-a-bed, and they're all foam panels. It's actually, as hide-a-beds go, it's really nice, especially for people who remember the old ones with the springs and the bars through your back and that sort of thing. So it's actually not so bad. It's easy to set up and put away. Okay, your dinette, you can pull the poles off and set the table on these cleats here on each side and use the back cushions to fill in the space, and you get another bed there. All right. So this is just a automatic refrigerator. Basically, it'll always seek out electricity first. So if you're plugged into electricity, it'll select that as the energy source. If you don't have any electricity, it'll sense that and it'll automatically light on gas. If you're let's say it's a really hot day and you leave early in the morning to go exploring for the day, and you know, a few hours later the campground has power problems, it'll sense the loss of power and it'll switch over to gas so you don't spoil your food. So it's very, very simple. It is gas absorption type refrigerator, so it takes longer to reach operating temperature, but when it gets there, it'll run just like a regular refrigerator. So give it plenty of time to start, or to cool down, I'm sorry. This device down here is your power converter. So what it does, it converts 110 AC over to 12 volt DC. So if you open it up, you just push this here. All right. So you've got regular household type circuit breakers like you'd see in your basement or your utility room, whatever. And they're all labeled, right? Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. So you see you've got regular 12 volt fuses here, and they're labeled. So if one of these fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up, an LED will light up, and you can see it glowing through this plastic here, so you would know that it blew a fuse. Also, this is a battery tender. So as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your battery has up front, and if it's really low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs. If it's almost totally charged, it'll just trickle a couple. So it just sends the power needed to keep the battery up front charged. Okay? All right. This is the microwave that, and it works like any other microwave. There's nothing unique about it. This is the vent fan I told you about. So this is the range hood, and it vents to the outside. And remember I told you about opening the baffle? There you have the fan right there, and it vents to the outside, which is good. Some trailers tend to just have a charcoal filter and vent back into the trailer, which is not good. You also have a light here. Okay, your range, range and excuse me, your range operates on LP gas, of course. You spark the lighter to light it by turning this clockwise. Okay, so I don't know if the gas is on right now, but we'll see. No. But, so basically, if you turn this to light, you'll turn it, and you can see it sparking there maybe. It'll light the gas, and you got one knob for each burner, obviously. And then you have, to the right here, you have the oven knob. So, basically, there's a pilot light. Let me I guess I can leave it on. There's a pilot light, I don't know which works best, all the way at the bottom, all the way to the back. So you can see, you can spark it from here. You see it sparking. Alright, so what you would do to light the oven is you turn it to the pilot light and then depress it. You always keep it depressed. Hold it in. Then with the other hand you're going to spark this until you see it light down there. After it lights, you're still holding this in, and you hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up, and then you go to operating temperature. So then it cycles as an oven does. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, obviously, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay, hopefully it made sense to you. I was having trouble there for a minute, so. Okay, these are your keys, obviously. Let's see here. There are LED lights all over. If they're not switched, they'll have a button right here to turn them on and off. Okay, so these are your 3 remotes. The small one is for the fireplace. You can operate it from here or from here. I don't know if we're plugged in at this point. Let me see here. Let me see what he's got here. Okay, there we go. So basically, right now it's flashing H. If you could see that, that means the fan is on high. The fan could go low, off, low, and high, and that's for a space heater function, right? Then you can set the thermostat if you want, and it also has a timer, so you can set it to turn on and turn off at certain times. And you can also set the appearance of the fire. You can just change it. It tends to get less of a glow to it. I don't know exactly how to say it, but go from there. This remote is, I have to get batteries for it, so I'll take it right in after I do finish this video, because it's obviously needs some new batteries, which we find all the time when they sit waiting to be sold. This one here is for your radio / disc player. So you can play CDs and DVDs. You can stream off of this USB port here. Just take a USB drive and with all your favorite songs on it, in MP3 form, and you can just play it that way. Or you can also stream using Bluetooth, so you can stream from your tablet or your phone. So you have all those functions, plus you have 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is the outside speaker, and all the standard radio functions for setting stations and that sort of thing. So it does everything you need to do. You also, obviously, when you put in a DVD, it'll switch over and play over the TV set. Remember that you have to reset the input on the TV sometimes. So when you go back to playing the radio or playing the radio, it's not going to play properly. So let's see. Every remote has a function key on it. Oh, this one's called source. So I guess source is the word I want. So reset the source if you have to. All right. Of course, this is the remote for the TV set. Now the TV set, let's see, it does lock into place, which is good. That's what we want. This right here is the signal booster for your digital antenna. If you can see, there's a green LED right there. Now you can shut it off, but you don't want to do that. If you're using the antenna, you want that on, or you won't get a good signal. And that's some video through, and power, of course. All right, so that's that. Obviously, this is your patio here. Just make sure you got the keys here. Always make sure you have patio door keys. Yes, we do right there. So, okay, great. All right, so let me look around and see if I forgot anything. I tend to get rolling and I forget things. We'll walk up to the bathroom now. Now the bathroom, it's the sink and shower work pretty much like any sink and shower. You have to remember the toilet cannot be used dry. By dry, I mean the black tank, which is directly below, has to have some water in it to start off, or else the smell gets unbearable. So this has a flush right here. This is just antifreeze going through it with residual pressure. Okay, so when you step on the pedal, because you're hooked up to the water will come swirling out, and the black tank is directly below, as I stated. So you want to put about a gallon or so of water in there. There's no way to tell exactly how much that is. Just use common sense. Just stand on it for a minute or whatever it takes to put some water in there. And you're going to do this. You pull into the campsite, you hook up the power and the water, then you come in here and you stand on this pedal and put a little water in the black tank before everybody starts using the toilet. Okay, this GFCI. This trailer has 2, I believe, so all the plugs, half the plugs in the trailer will be wired to this one and half through the other one. So even if you're using a plug outside, it's going to trip this one or the one up front. So that's where you reset it. All right, and also always use the fan when you're using the shower. That takes the humidity out so you don't get mold or mildew issues. So make sure you always vent when you're using that shower. Okay, this is your screen door and your steps for the patio. Okay, you have pre-wired for your TV up here. That's antenna and power, obviously. And there's a backer plate here, so you can put a TV bracket right there. The thing to know about this escape window, in case you don't, let me just do it this way, get this loose. Come on now. I need two hands, I only got one. I'm going to have to point the camera elsewhere at this point. There we go. Okay. So you bring up the blind. So, okay, so if you want to escape, you're going to grab this right here. You're going to push it through. Let me get it unsealed here. Boy. Let me set the camera down. Okay. So you'll push this through. You can do it like that. Whoops! I think I got my finger over the microphone there. I'm sorry. So you'll push it through like this. If you want to just vent the room out, you know, if you want a breeze cross through, you can just leave it like that. But to escape, you're going to push it all the way through, and then you're going to grab this red tab and pull the screen out. And then you can get out of the trailer in an emergency. Okay. So, this trailer, because it's a 50 amp system, it's pre-wired for a second air conditioner. That's what this panel is going to tell you, or this cover I mean. The air conditioner will drop right in here. So you would use basically a air conditioner with a ceiling unit with controls on it. So it drops right in there. And then you would select the temperature from the controls that are on this unit. That would be the most typical application. The small one would be a 13.5. If you put a 13.5 in here, you could make an ice rink. I mean, it'll get so cold. So keep in mind you are pre-wired for a second air conditioner if you need it. Okay, so now I'm done. Okay, great. All right, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I told you about inspecting the seals on your trailer, any place you see caulk from the factory you want to look at, especially the roof, and you do that every 90 days. The trailer is winterized right now and in bypass mode. Okay? Thank you very much.